Yo, squad, checking in with you. Hope you've had a good weekend. Hope you're cracking through the 7 day exam plan, and most importantly, making sure that you're using the WhatsApp support to your advantage. Ask me questions, implement the voice notes, use the little tidbits of motivation that I'm giving you every day to make sure you do stuff, you take action, because that's ultimately what it's about, right? You can have all the planning and intent and ideas in the world, but if you're not actually doing it, getting it done day to day, it's worth nothing. So, in the spirit of doing things, I want to tee you up for next week to get that momentum going again and really hit the ground running. So, one thing that I think is really, really important for any student to understand that is that if you want to have results that are different from everybody else's, right? And the two results that are different from everybody else's are the results at the top of the grade bands and the results at the bottom of the grade bands, right? Because it makes sense in terms of how grades are distributed. You get a small collection of people at the top achieving the best grades. You get a lot of people in the middle achieving the average grades, and you get a small amount of people at the bottom achieving the less good grades or the worst grades. And that's just how it works. And in order to do each three of those things, the top thing, the top grade bands, you have to be doing things differently, very differently from the middle and bottom ones. And likewise, at the bottom, you have to be doing things very differently from the middle and the top. So let's really talk about, being different, doing things a bit differently, and really setting ourselves apart from the rest of the field, because that's ultimately what you're trying to do with your results. Now, one of the ways you can do this is your approach in lessons or classes. I always think the best way to do it is just be the hardest worker in the room. If you're the hardest worker in the room, there's pretty much nothing else that you could be doing in order to actually improve your grades. And you're going to be happy with your performance. Or what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, that's how hard I work this time. I want to raise the bar even more, be more focused, more efficient, more effective, and upgrade my performance, because there might be people ahead of you just because they've been working harder previously, or they've just put the work in for a longer period of time. So tomorrow, a couple of things you can do. First, 2 to 3 lessons of the day, make a conscious effort to be the hardest worker in the room. The ways you can do this is ask the first question. Deliberately ask the first question in every class. A simple one to ask could be, and even if you've heard what the teacher said correctly, just say, "Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, miss. Could you please say that again? Could you please repeat that? Sorry, I didn't quite understand that explanation. Could you say it? Could you perhaps explain it in a slightly different way?" And what that does is it just gets your foot in the door. It just kind of shows everybody, hey, I'm here. I'm in class. Because when I was at school, I definitely had the problem of, especially between the age of 13 to 16, where I really struggled with trying to be the best in the class, or I just didn't think it was cool. I thought it was geeky. I didn't put my hand up and ask questions because I thought it was for losers who tried too hard, and that's just incorrect. The people who are actually going to get the furthest in life, the people who try the hardest, really care about what they're doing, have a positive attitude, and show up every day and just try and do their best. And that's the approach that we got to try and foster here. So when you go into class, ask the first question. Do it. First 3 classes tomorrow. Ask the first question every single class. Next thing, when the teacher's speaking, really focus on what they're saying. One of the best ways to do this is just write notes the whole time. So many students wait until the teacher says, okay, you can write notes now. Nah, that's not what we do. We just write notes anyway. And people will look at you and be like, why are you writing notes? Just be like, I'm just writing notes. That's how I learn. That's how I do things. That's it. That's conversation over. Keep writing notes. Keep writing notes the whole time. Because that means you're listening. You have to be listening in order to be writing notes, right? You have to. If you're not writing notes, you could be daydreaming. You could be. And the definition of daydreaming is you don't even really know you're there, right? You're dreaming. And I'd be doing that the whole time in school. Then I said, right, I'm just gonna write notes the whole time to keep myself focused. Make sure I'm trying my hardest. Make sure I'm there in the room, giving it 100. So, 2 things tomorrow you can focus on in your first 3 lessons, and be accountable with this. Tell me if you did it. Tell me if you struggled. Tell me if, yeah, first lesson went well, lost my momentum in the second, third went better. Check in. keep yourself accountable and just try and do it for every lesson. Like once you're in the mood, like you can do anything and you can turn it off and on in as in you go into the lesson, you're hyper focused, hyper into what the teacher's saying. The moment you're out the lesson, you're socializing, you're saying hello, you're being fun, you're mucking around a bit, whatever. The moment you go into the next classroom, boom, laser focus. Then foot off the gas again. A little bit of socializing outside. It's that kind of ability to do those two things that's really going to help you out because you're doing two of the key things that you got to do for exams, right? Number one, focus on the content, pay attention in class, learn as you go. Number two, stress relief, chill, socialize, do things that human beings do in order to just kind of express themselves in different ways other than just the intelligence side of us. Yeah, we're social beings as well. So you've got to do that. And then we got the exercise and all the other stuff with it. But you get the idea of what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to take action, trying to make things happen. So go out there tomorrow, hit it hard, get those things done, and check in with me at the end of the day and let me know you crushed it. We're going to go big this week. Exams are just around the corner. Let's amp up the pace and crush it and keep going. Here we go, squad. Checking out.